Thank you.
Of course. All right, so today, just to kind of review what we'll be reviewing, we're going to look at how to change your menu structure, which is right up here at the top, how you can change these photos right across the top here, which I know we're still waiting, I think, on some photos to plug in here, how we can update any of this text, how I can create these buttons, how we can update our announcements, our quick links, our footer information, and then we also have a member landing page that I'm going to make sure we've got hooked up in here, and that is just, we're going to review how to update that as well. So today it's just going to be all about the front end and doing all the fun stuff in the website. So let me get this set up quickly with the member landing page. So anytime your members log in, they're going to land on the member landing page. And that's where they can update their profile and all that kind of stuff. And it'll look like this. Yeah, it'll look like this. So it'll just have a name tag. It'll data merge their information in, and we can always change this background color if we need to.
Oh, that's cute. Hello, my name's Michelle.
Yeah, isn't that cool? It's a little bit more personalized for your members when they log in, so they know they're in their site and they're being greeted by name. So I think that's it's just very personalized. So we'll be working under our website tab today. And the first thing I want to review is how we can create articles and link those articles up. So if we go to advocacy up here in your main menu, it'll take us, well, it's going to take us back to your main site. So I'm going to show you how to link external links as well. But I also want you to know how to add articles. So if you have member-specific content, you can add permissions in the site so that only members can see that content. And that would have to be done through the member click side of things. Does that make sense, member permission, and why we would want to do that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So we would start off on our website tab, and we would select articles. So we have to build the article before we can link it to our main menu. So we already have some articles in here. The member landing page is one of those places that we'll need to update the text for. So that's what your members see, once again, underneath the name tag. And then if we wanted to create a new article, we can just come up here in the top right-hand corner and select New. Out of all these icons up here, the main ones that you'll be using are probably New and Move to Trash. The rest of them I don't think you'll be using. We can select a new article, and then we would name that article. So we could name it Members, meaning it would be member-specific information. An alias automatically populates. That alias is going to come after the / memberclicks.net/members, and that creates the URL for the article. And then we're ready to come down here into our article editor. We call this our WYSIWYG editor, which stands for what you see is what you get. And that is very true. Anything you put in here, it's going to look the exact same way you see it on the back end as it will on the front end. So from here we can put members only content. And then we can start to kind of do a couple of different things. A lot of the items and options that you see up here are the same things you may see in a Word document. So we can bold, italicize, underline. We can also do strike-throughs. We can change the alignments. We have the font family, so we can change different fonts. The font size, so we can change different font sizes. We can change the color behind the text, such as highlighting. We can change the color of the text. Something that I would recommend is staying away from all of these different customizations and just using these formatted fonts. So we have some pre-formatted fonts in here. And the reason I think these are so awesome is because if you ever wanted to change the text type in your website, or if you ever wanted to change the colors of your site, all you'd have to do is call into myself or the help team, let them know, and the designers will update to the colors that you have chosen. What's cool about that is anywhere you've used these formatted fonts, they will automatically update. So you won't have to go into every page and manually update anything you've created. It's just going to automatically happen. Okay. So that's why I would stick with using those formatted fonts if you're ever creating any article content. A couple other things just to point out some items that are different than just like a typical Word document. And For the article, I know you guys probably won't be creating articles very often in the site. However, you'll see this WYSIWYG editor kind of all over the place when we create events or when we send out emails. The editor looks the same and everything acts the same. So you'll be able to apply this information to other areas of the website as well. But some other differences is if we want to insert an image, we would just place our cursor where we want the image to populate in at. We would come to the bottom of our page. We would select image right down here at the bottom. This is going to bring up our mini WYSIWYG our mini media manager. There's a media manager you can save different files or images in the site. I'm going to show you how to use that as well. And you can access anything you save in the media manager from anywhere within your site. So for this example, I can choose your logo. I can insert your logo, and now we've inserted that into our WYSIWYG editor. You'll notice the image is a little too big as it is now. It backs right up to the text, just doesn't look very good. So we can make some changes to its appearance. Of course, we can drag the bottom corners to make the image smaller. However, we can also use this tree icon. It's a little teeny tiny tree icon up at the top. By selecting that and then going over to the Appearance tab, we can create some different customizations, and all of these different things that we add, we'll be able to see the example here in the right-hand box to give us an idea of what we're doing. So first is the alignment. This has to do with how the text aligns around the image. So if I choose left, then the text wraps left with the image. If I chose right, the text wraps right to the image. Same thing with the rest of these. We can change the dimensions of our image. We always want to keep our constrained proportions. This is what's going to keep the proportions of our image. If we uncheck it, it'll make the image all wonky and kind of funky looking. The only other thing in here that I like to use is vertical and horizontal space, and that just creates cushion between the image and the text. Okay, did all of that make sense? All right, great. So then from here I would just update. And now you'll notice that our image is smaller. We have that cushion between our image and our text. And our text starts and wraps left with the image. Just a couple other things I like to point out is how we can add external links and how we can add internal links. I can't spell. External links, we would choose the text that we want to link up. We would highlight it, come to the top of our page, choose this little tiny link, and then we can put in the site where we want this to take us. So I could bring us right back to our home page. I would add the link in, and then I would just save. And then secondly, we can use this internal for internal links. Instead of going to the top, we're actually going to come to the bottom of our page, the Site Links button down here, and once again, this is going to bring up our Mini Media Manager. From here, we can choose any other articles in the site, any community features, any forms, any files. We can choose kind of anything to link up from this point. So I would want to choose maybe the event calendar. We can link this up to the event calendar. Something that I think is so fun is when we have something linked up and we've highlighted it, we can use one of our formatted fonts called Heading 6, and this is what creates our button for us. So that's really easy. And then lastly, we have an HTML editor that you can use as well if you ladies are good at HTML. Other than that, a lot of these items are kind of just similar to what you would see in any other kind of editor. Do y'all have any questions on anything within this WYSIWYG editor?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, awesome. Before we can save and move forward, we want to save the group access. So this is going to be who can see this article. Right now we don't have all your member types in here, but when we do, then we can decide who gets to see and who doesn't get to see this particular article. In this case, it's only for members, so I would uncheck Prospect and Public. And then we would save. So now we've created our article. But that's all we've created so far. It's not linked up anywhere. In order to link it to a menu item, in order to link it to a menu item, we would just go to Website, and we would go right down here to our menu items. And you'll notice you have 4 different menu items. So when you get to this page, you have to ask yourself, what menu do I want to make edits or changes to? To point out where these different menu items are, we have this main menu, which would be this main menu right up here at the top. We have the social network menu. So if we scroll all the way down to our bottom of our page, this would be our social network menu. We have the member menu, so that's on that member landing page, this member directory, my profile, event calendar, all of these different items. And then we have our quick links menu. So to point that out, that would be this quick links here. Okay.
Okay.
Right now I want to make some edits to the main menu, so I'm going to select main menu. Now it's going to bring me to my menu, which is right here. If I wanted to create a new menu item, I would come up to the top and once again select new. And this is going to give me some different options as to how to link up my menu item. So we can link up to any, to link up to the single article we just created, we would just choose single article. We don't have a blog or category list or archived articles or anything like that, so we would know it would just be single article. However, we don't necessarily have to link up in the article to the event calendar because we can link directly to the event calendar from the menu item. So we can link directly to our community pieces. If we set up a forum, any of our forms we would set directly to, which we'll end up doing for your renewal forms. And then lastly, we have this other option. So I set up your menu by using external links. We'll walk through that process in a second as well. For now, I want to choose single article. Then I would name what I want my menu to be called. So I'm going to name it the same thing I named my article. And then I can decide if I want this to to show up at the top as another menu item or if I want it to be a sub-menu item. If I wanted it to be a sub-menu item, I would just highlight which one I wanted it to be a sub-menu of. I can choose whether I want this to open up in a new browser or stay in the same browser. I can choose my group access again. And once again, we've in our example, we're pretending this is only for members, so I'm only selecting my members. And then we would select the article we want this menu item to take your members to. So that would be the members article we just created. And then I would save. So now if I go back to your home page and I refresh my page, you'll notice we have our members tag or menus menu item that is up here at this point. And if I click it, it brings us to that little article that we created. How did that process feel?
Okay. Pretty
self-explanatory
right now.
Oh, well, all right. Well, then y'all are you got it. Cool. So the other thing I wanted to point out is if we wanted to create an external link, we would just go to our menu items, and instead of having to create the article and going through that process, we would just select the main menu, select new, and then in this time, instead of the single article, I would just choose external link. So from here, I named your menu items the same thing that you had them named in your existing site. So for example, like when I created advocacy, I just named it advocacy. I grabbed the advocacy URL, threw the link in here, named this advocacy. I added whether I wanted it to be at the top, or you can add if you want it to be a submenu, you would decide your group access and then you would save. So the only difference here is instead of having to create the article and linking to the article, we would just add in the external link. And that's how your menu was built. Okay? Awesome. So then the next item I wanted to review is that Media Manager. You heard me say that word a couple times, so that's still under Website and Media Manager. From here, we can upload any of our own documents or images. So we would decide whether we wanted it to go in our Documents file or our Images file. We can create folders within these files if you want some further organization. Then you would just select Upload. You would choose one of the items that you wanted to upload in here. So we can choose our kickoff questionnaire, and then we would just open, and now it's in our our media manager. So that means we can access this anywhere that we can add site links in. So that's how we would add, that's how we would create those internal links. I'm going to X out of that. And we would do the same thing with documents, slideshow images. So if you wanted to add some slideshow images, just send them to me and I'll add them to you guys. But if you wanted to add some additional ones in the future, you would just go to your slideshow images folder and then you would want to add them in here. And this lets you know what size they need to be, so you're not having to guess. They're always going to be 980 by 245. Okay.
Okay.
Do you guys have any questions on how to use this menu or this media manager?
I don't think so.
Okay, awesome. So now we are ready to look at our widgets. So widgets are, it's a funny word, but this is going to be a little bit different than articles. If I go to this widgets area, it's going to have a list of different widgets, and they're kind of found all throughout, but the main place is going to be on our home page. When the home page is not made of articles, it's made of widgets, so that if you're on a cell phone or a tablet and the screen is smaller, you still have functionality of all of those features on the page. So that's why we've created the home page with these widgets. They're a little bit more, that's what gives us the responsive template. So if we want to make edits to any of these areas, we can go underneath website and widgets, and we can begin looking at our different widgets that we have. So we have the member landing my name is. That's how we'll edit the data merged information that comes in on that name tag. So if you don't want to collect the organization or member type, you can delete it, come to the bottom down here, and there's this merge data tool. And this will allow you to choose any item from their profile that you want to merge. You would select that item, and then you would just merge. And then we can save. We have the homepage main, homepage left, and homepage right to show you where these different areas are. I'm going to go back to my homepage. So this is that homepage main. So when you get ready to update the information in the homepage main area, this is where we'll need to come. Homepage left is this left column at the bottom. Homepage right is the right column at the bottom. So we would not update this information in articles. We would update it in our widgets section. So we can go into the homepage main, and then from here we would just be able to edit any of this text. Okay.
Okay.
We have slider images. So this is the second place we would want to update when, what slider images we're showing across your home screen. So whenever you guys have those to send to me, once again, we can just update these in here for you. But if you want to add one in the future, you can always either call into the help team, or if you're feeling brave, you can use, I think using the HTML is the easiest. And I say that, but this doesn't look very, this doesn't look as the typical, here we go. This doesn't look very easy. So what we would do is, I can tell where my images start and end. So in this example, here's one of my images between these arrows. I can copy this, come down to the bottom and paste it, but then I would change the name of the image, whatever we named it when we saved it in the Media Manager, because that's where it's pulling from.
Mhm.
But you all can just call into our help team.
Okay. Sounds
And
good.
they'll be more than happy to do that for you. All right. Then we have the footer info. So that's going to be the info at the bottom down here. What information does this have? Normally it's, okay, great. So it's just this copyright 2016 Georgia Forestry Association. So that's right down here.
Mhm.
Okay. Then we have the custom login page top half and custom login page lower half. And then we have this announcements tab. So to show you where these three are, the announcements is this widget on the right-hand side. So that's this area here, where you can just add in any announcements that you have. And then the custom login page top half and lower half would be for when your members are ready to log in. So bear with me for just a second. confused by this when we were going over our training at your office because I don't know if I'm just being silly. There's usually, I wonder if it's because I'm already logged in. Let me take a look really fast. So we should be able to, and I'm going to ask my designer about this because it's usually really easy, but there should be a login button on here. And I don't know if they just forgot to add that or...
That could be a problem.
I know, it's really peculiar because I've never seen them do that before. So let me check on that, but basically just to show you, and I'll make sure that that gets updated. Or I might just be being, you know, silly, and it's probably right in front of my face, and I just for some reason can't see it. But I'll update you all. But I'm going to go to the MemberClick site just to show you.
We don't see it either, so it's not you.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, we don't see it. That's why I said, oh, that's not good.
It's really different. I'm like, is it just because I haven't really used this template? Well, that's not the case, and I'm wondering if it's maybe because we kind of customized it to try to match your other site, but I don't. They would still add it in, so I'll follow up and see what's up with that. So the custom login page, top half and lower half, is going to be. You'll have a login page that looks similar to this where your members will log in, and it'll be information above here or information below here that you can put in. Most of the time, I've noticed that these are left alone, but I personally think it's kind of a good place for any additional updates, or, you know, just for members or something like that. But usually, I've just seen this being left alone and nobody adding any information. Okay.
Okay.
And that's kind of everything with the widgets. Other than that login, do you guys have any questions?
Not right now. I don't. You?
Mm-mm.
Okay, awesome. All right, great. So now we're kind of done with the content. The only other thing that we need to look at is our calendar and then our contact center. So I love our calendar. It's one of my favorite features. Do you guys have an upcoming event that I could add to it?
Forestry Day at the Capitol, right?
Yeah. Forestry Day at the Capitol.
February 8th.
Okay.
February 8th.
Oh, okay. Hold on one second.
Sure.
That's quick.
So what we can do is come to our community. We're going to come straight to our calendar. And from here, we have a couple different options up at the top. I like to work from right to left. So we can go to Manage Locations. And first, we're just going to add in where this would be. So we would select New. And then we'd add the location. Do you have where this meeting will be held at?
Yes. What's the call, Mary Lou? Now that you ask, it's blank, right?
Not the Omni,
No.
not
The Georgian Terrace.
oh, yeah.
The Georgian Terrace.
The Georgian.
We could have made anything up in.
Well, that's.
And do you have the address, or do you want me to look it up?
Oh my! I don't have the address. It's a Peachtree something.
That's fine. Georgian Terrace. Oh, look at that. Georgian Terrace Hotel?
That's correct.
Oh, Midtown Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. All right, what's your... Here we go. You're not going to let me copy and paste. 659 Peachtree Street, Northeast. 659 Peachtree Street, Northeast. City is Atlanta. Atlanta. Let's see what the 30308. Okay, then we'd say 30308. We can put in the telephone number, and then we can also put in the website URL. From here we would say find address, which isn't going to move a whole lot, but a little bit, so that's pretty close to us. So that gives your members the ability to see where it's located on the map and pull up Google directions if they need to. And then in the description, you'll see our WYSIWYG editor once again, and in here, this is where you'll add in a description about the event.
Okay. Yeah, the map of that's great.
Yeah, so then we're going to save this. And then we would manage categories. So this is our location. Now we're going to manage categories. Do you have a category that this could be considered part of? Like what kind of meeting?
Oh,
legislative?
Yeah, legislative. Is that right, Michelle? It is legislative.
Yeah, legislative, I suppose.
This is what's going to color code your map.
Okay.
We can save. And now we're ready to add the actual event. So it shows unpublished. We'll just double click and that'll publish this article. I'm sorry, this event category. Now we'll go to manage events and we're ready to add it. So I'm going to select new for the event. And what's the name of the event again?
Forestry Day at the Capitol.
Forestry Day at the Is it OL or AL? Don't laugh at me. Okay, good. Thank you. Categories, we're going to choose the legislative category that we just set up. And what day is this? You said the 8th of December?
February.
February. February 8th. And this is 2017, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And do you have a start time?
7:30 a.m.
Okay. And it ends same day at what time?
5.
Awesome. So then from here, if it was a repeating event, we have the ability to mark whether it's repeating or not. We would tag our permissions, so that's who can see this on the calendar. So if you only want this for members only, you can just keep out prospects and publics. Down at the bottom, we would add information about the event, and then we would select the location at the very bottom. That's going to bring up where all of our saved locations are.
Okay.
I thought I pressed it. Let me save this, come out and go back in. There we go. Georgian Terrace. And then we would save. So now if I go back to our home page, I know that under our members, I linked up to our calendar. Of course, we can link up to the calendar in one of our quick links or the main menu up here at the top. So I'm going to go to internal links. Here's our calendar. It's got our color coding up here. We can go to the month of February. And then you'll see it on our calendar, and it's got our color coding. If we hover over, it'll show us some more specifics magnified, and then we can click into the event. And it has our map and our information, any event. If you want people to register, you can also link up a form for them to register on within this event. And then we're kind of good to go. You can click on the maps, and it'll take you to the Google Maps for you to pull up directions.
Cool deal.
Okay.
Right.
Do y'all have any questions on how to use that calendar?
Not at the moment.
Okay,
They'll all
great.
come later when we have to do it.
That is perfect.
Point right. Okay, great.
I always know that that's, once you get your hands in here, it's like, wait, what do I do?
Exactly. Like, oh, that was so easy. Then you get in there alone, and it's like, okay, what do I do?
Well, I was going to say, passenger in the car. You think you're in the car, but in actuality, when you get behind the wheel, you really can't drive. But anyway, I'm sure, do we get free help?
Yes, of course. And while we're together in implementation, you guys can bug me. I mean, call me, send me emails. I would rather you guys ask the bulk of your, get in here and play around now and ask the bulk of your questions to me during the process, so that when we get ready to graduate, you feel really confident and comfortable using the product. That would be my goal for us.
Sure.
Didn't you say we have a test? Didn't you tell us we had
You can test in here.
I'm just kidding. I thought you said we had a test.
Oh, no test. No worries. We're not doing that. That would be a little too scary.
Cal and I are a little fish about asking for help because when we had to call other people for help, we got charged. So, just kidding, if you can understand that.
That is crazy. I would have, for like Salesforce and stuff?
Yeah, I didn't want to mention any names since we're on a video.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even think about that. I apologize.
I'm trying to be politically correct here.
That's ruining it.
What are you doing on YouTube?
Well, it's a YouTube video, but I'm not going to really put it on YouTube for everybody to see.
It's unlisted, right? Only people who have the link will be able to see it. No worries.
I'll set me release straight after this call.
I get what you're saying, Michelle. Just, Adrian, can you just take that part out?
I'll see what I can do. But that is crazy, y'all. No, during this time with us, you guys have me. I mean, if you wanted to talk 6 hours a day, I wouldn't be able to say no to you. I mean, I might have to say like, that's a little expensive.
Okay, we're still.
Oh my goodness.
You just hang out with her just a little bit more. You'd be rolling all the time. Okay.
If we was going to be out there in the cyber world.
Oh gosh. Yeah, so merely because nobody's gonna see this. Just our little family here. So.
That's right.
Contact.
That's exactly right. So the only other thing I wanted to show you guys is under Community and under the Contact Center. This is, and we looked at this in our database, but I want to look at it one more time. This is where if you remember in the profile list, you'll select the members you want to communicate with, and that'll take you to the Contact Center. Of course, you can just come here on your own by just coming to the Contact Center under Community. And from here, we can choose the people we want to contact. We can write our email, which I have some email templates that I already put in here for y'all. And I know that we want to put your verbiage in these, but we can load any of these in.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't send them to you because now I got to fix them because no sense me sending them to you because it's not like we're sending out the invoices for the new year. So you see what I'm saying? Like I can't say welcome, thank you for your donation. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Right. Yeah, I definitely understand.
So all those ones that I did October 7th that I was so proud of, I am doing.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Hopefully you won't have to make too many changes, just maybe the intro or something like that.
Right. So I didn't send them to you because they're not
applicable.
Right. Thank you. That's a very good word. Thank you.
So in here, this is where we'll add the body of those messages, and then once again, we can send this now or send it at a later date. Then we can send the message. It'll sit in a queue for 5 minutes so that if you change your mind and you want to cancel it, you can. Then once it's delivered, you'll be able to come underneath reporting and messages, and this is where you can take a peek at message details. So you can see, did it complete sending? What type of notification was it? When was it sent? You know, how many recipients were there? And then we can go to welcome to member clicks. So this is that'll be the subject line. Then we can see, was it opened? Was it attempted to send? Kind of all these other statistics on the message, and we can also view the message. Okay.
Okay.
And that's all I got for today. Do y'all have any questions for me?
No, it's easy peasy.
Easy
Good.
Now, but you know that's all good info, and I really like the map on the calendar. It's really good. We're all the time having to link up things with, you know, the map and directions, so that's great that populates like it does. So.
Okay, good. I really love I wish that I could have this event calendar for everything in my life. This is it's so helpful, I think. But, well, I know we've already got our next call scheduled, and I'll be sending a follow-up email shortly. if y'all have any questions for me, please let me know. And other than that, I just look forward to talking to you on our forms training.
Same here. We hope you have a good Thanksgiving. Thanks for everything.
Thanks. Y'all do the same. I look forward to talking to you next week. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, y'all.